Look at those blue sky and mountains. Hi, hello, it's Angel here. Thanks for stopping by. I just want to remind you that there is always something to be grateful for. There's always something to be ungrateful for, and there's always something to be grateful for. And we all get to choose, moment to moment, now to now, what to focus on. And sometimes it's easier than others, of course. When you're in pain, when you're dealing with someone else in pain, or someone you love in pain, it's can be really challenging to focus on the positive. And yet, it never helps to focus on the negative. That doesn't mean ignore things. It just means focus on the solution side of things. Focus on the positive orientation. Focus on them from a positive frame of mind, and then you will be able to have more of a positive influence on things. So, if you approach a problem with a state of mind that it's overwhelming, with the state of mind that you don't know what to do, with the story of this is going to be terrible or it is terrible, then it's likely you're going to be right. Whereas if you approach a problem with the storyline of this is an opportunity for me to find a solution, and this seems bad right now, but I know that I'm a resourceful being, and I know other resourceful beings, and so I know that I can get through this, and everything is temporary. So even if I don't see a solution right now, I know that if I keep myself calm and I start going through the list of my resources and try to figure out what to do while I wait for the situation to change, perhaps if I don't know what to do quite yet, that I will know soon, and I'll be able to take positive action. So that's a choice we get all the time. It's a choice that's so simple and comes naturally when things are going easy. It's easy when your circumstances and conditions are positive to feel good about them. However, it is actually a really neat opportunity that we have when we have a problem or when we have a situation that's distressing or traumatic that's out of our control. That's an opportunity to practice being in a positive state of mind even when the circumstances are not the way we'd like them. That's unconditional love. In fact, that's unconditional universal love. It's learning to love ourselves unconditionally in such a way that we look for the good feeling, look for the solution orientation, look for that positive frame of reference, that positive frame of mind, regardless of what the circumstances are doing. And people who you might think are pessimistic, who are the opposite of that, right? Who just always looking at things with a negative frame of mind, always pointing out the negative details of things or the potential problem in things, problem-oriented people, and they're often fairly unhappy. Now, it's a little mysterious to me how some of them seem to live pretty long and bitter lives. That part I still haven't figured out. And maybe there's something to be said for expressing. I do think that when you're in alignment with your true self and expressing it, that can have a lot of variation, and that the judgment that I have of saying positive and negative, or somebody, grumpy or not grumpy, or having fun or not, that's my own judgment that I'm putting on things, and that's, a limitation that I live within. So maybe some of these people are much happier than I perceive them to be, much more enjoying, much more in alignment with their true self. So I will choose not to overthink that anymore and just go with my conclusion, my gut instinct, which is that the more I practice being in a positive frame of mind, the more I practice unconditional love, especially in those challenging times, the better at it I get. So especially when my feelings are hurt, especially when I lose someone close to me, especially when someone else isn't acting the way I wish they would act, that's the perfect time to practice unconditional love of them and also myself. Of course, we're all one, so that separation is made up, but ultimately it helps for me to think of it that way, in that I I need to be kind and loving to myself and make sure I'm not suffering needlessly by beating myself up with dumb stories, untrue statements about myself, or even true statements that aren't very nice. And I need to be unconditionally loving toward the whole universe, and if possible, the being that is, that I'm using as the focal point for my dissatisfaction or bad feeling. Because the reason I try to phrase it that way is because I think ultimately the people and beings that we love and those that we are bothered by, it's really all just like the being themselves are kind of arbitrary. It's our own lessons, our own ego, our own needs, and the way that we go about communicating them or not. And of course, we play with each other. We line up and meet, and that's part of the whole delightful dynamic of the dance of life, that we don't control each other, that we get to try to control ourselves, and then dance with someone else who's trying to control themselves, and it leads to a whole myriad of, it's evolution, baby. Anything could happen. It's pretty exciting, isn't it? I think it is. That's my 2 cents for right now. I hope you're finding a positive frame of mind. Go team positivity. Till next time, potential, playfulness, and productivity.